Don't you hate when powerful men try to start wars to avoid going to jail? Well, I do. Meet Milorad Dodik, the leader of the Republic Srpska. Republic Srpska exists as what is called an entity inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina. This was established as part of the Dayton Peace Agreement. Republic Srpska was set up to end the Bosnian War that ran from 1992 to 1995. And it also set up the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and also the self-governing district of Brico that is governed between the two. Bosnia also has a kind of super president that is picked from some of the nations that are guarantors of the peace deal, and right now it is this German guy, Christian Schmidt. Christian has two very powerful powers. He can remove any representative in the country that he feels is doing something illegally, not their job, or doing something that will harm the peace deal. And also, more powerfully, he can make binding decisions whenever he feels like the communities are not agreeing. The Dayton Agreement was a compromise. The Republic Srpska was allowed to have a lot of its own institutions and have self-governance and operate very independently, but it was still part of the country and would still have to answer to national institutions, even though it would have opt-outs in many cases. So Dodik runs the Alliance of Independent Social Democrats, and if you just take one glance at it, you might think it might be a normal center-left or left party. But of course not. They're a right-wing ethno-nationalist party. Of course, they're led by a Serbian nationalist that praises Vladimir Putin and has great relations with Viktor Orban. And Dodik, for many reasons, has been utterly failing in his years of governance, and he has now turned to the tried and true affair of pumping up separatism, the idea to break away from the Bosnian state and maybe be independent, or more realistically, reunite with Serbia. And that's really interesting because Serbia's government currently is not doing so well. Because after a disaster at a train station where the roof collapsed in Novi Sad, Mr. Aleksandar Vučić is facing a months-long sustained popular uprising led by students against his government, who want him gone and those responsible for the vast corruption and violence against the protesters themselves to be taken to justice, and for Serbia to have a future that is not an endless tide of corrupt people using them for all they're worth. If Dodik loses Vučić, he loses one of his largest, most powerful patrons, and most importantly, the person who leads Serbia for his potential Serbian separatist movement. So what did he do? Dodik decided to adopt laws prohibiting the work of the state's judiciary in the Republic Srpska, meaning that judges, courts, all the everything no longer has any bearing there. Obviously something that would be insane and illegal. He targeted the High Judicial and Prosecutorial Council, the HJPC, the State Investigation and Protection Agency, the SIPA, the State Prosecution and the State Court, and the Court of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then this situation kept escalating. He was asked by a prosecutor to appear in court for doing this. The High Representative stepped in. Now Dodik has defied the court that has sentenced him to 1 year in prison and a 6-year ban on holding public office. He said, "They say I am guilty. There is no reason to worry. I've learned to deal with tougher situations. What matters is that you are here." This situation kicked off in the summer of 2023 when the Republic Srpska Assembly passed a law that said they would no longer recognize the decisions of the High Representative in Republic Srpska. In response, the High Representative's office passed a decision that made it a criminal offense for non-compliance with his rulings. Dodik's other patron came to his rescue, Viktor Orban, but in Viktor Orban's Hungary, he is also facing an internal challenge with his own political party splitting, with Peter Magyar, his now opponent, looking to seize the control of the country next year in elections. Meaning right now, Dodik is watching his allies drop one by one potentially, and he's scared. Now the EU is announcing that it's sending more troops to Bosnia to boost the long-running peacekeeping mission Operation Alethea, and Moscow called an emergency session of the UN Security Council to happen this Thursday. Those 400 troops will augment the existing 1,300 troops already there. Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, made a response against Dodik, but unless Donald Trump says something, it really means nothing. But the constitutional crisis is still continuing in Bosnia, and we wait to see what will happen. Will Dodik pull the lever of separatism and war, or will reason come back into play? And when will the people from Republic of Srpska say enough is enough and kick Dodik out? Now this video is going to definitely get mass supported by Dodik and Vučić fans, so if you could do some engagement so more people can see and I can get paid. Thank you.